else. We're going to jump to this. Andrew Tate, ask everyone to rate their own looks on a scale of 1 to 10. You can't pick 7. Starting with you.
Am I rating what I...
Actually, wait.
Okay.
Wait, here. Actually, you know what? Here's how I want to do this. Anybody here a 10?
Say so.
Okay, we're starting with you then. What do you rate your looks on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say for myself and for my future husband, I'd see myself as a 10.
What do you mean for your future husband?
Like, I think my future husband will see me as a 10. There are plenty of men out there who might think I'm a 2 or a 3 or whatever, but me and my future husband will think I'm a 10.
Okay. You wanted to...
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same lines. I think that I'm a 10 in my own, like, I think I'm beautiful.
Okay.
Same thing. Not everybody may think that I'm beautiful, and
Sure.
that's fine, but I think that I'm beautiful. I'm a 10. If you don't think that I'm a 10, that's your personal opinion. I'm cool with that.
Okay. So now we'll just go around the table, starting with you. Go ahead.
I'm a 5.
Okay. Go ahead.
Maybe an 8 for myself, I guess.
Okay.
I personally think that I'm I see myself as a 3. I think society probably it's more like 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 6. Yeah, I feel like that's being kind to myself.
I think I'm an 8.
Molly?
I was a 5 about a month ago, and I think I went down to a 3. And hopefully by the end of summer, I'll be on my way back up.
Okay. So we have 5, 8, 3, 10, 6, 8, 3, 10. I give myself a 5. Okay. Oh, wait.
Can I say something?
One sec, really quick. DPG thing. Did you want a champagne pop? I was a little confused there. Do you want the... I think it's a champagne pop. It is a champagne pop. We got to honor the champagne pop. We got to honor the code. But DPG thing, you did simp for Eleanor. Do you have a nickname or you go by Eleanor?
My nickname is literally just LNR.
Eleanor.
So online, people always spell my name wrong. So I always just say, just spell it LNR.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But people just call me Eleanor.
Why aren't you allowed to pick 7?
Is that
it's-
Is this like a
picks
middle ground
7?
number? Like,
It's a
it's
thing.
like...
All right. And then, DPG, you have to pay a sim tax. If you simp, you got to pay the sim tax. You know the rules. So, I don't know. And we also asked for your biographical information. So, when you respond again, specify if you wanted a champagne pop, because I know sometimes you're like, whatever, you don't have to do it. But you can specify if you want us to pop champagne. Okay. So we got some 10s here. I want to talk to the 10s at the table. We have some very beautiful women at the table. Every show, I manage to get the most beautiful women on the table. Well, don't get ahead of yourself. So for the 2 10s, here's what I want to do. I want each of you to name another woman, preferably like a celebrity who we could look up, who you think is a 10. Starting with you. We've heard Megan Fox.
Yeah, no, I would say like energy matters above all else. But
No, it's
if
just
I
looks,
were to
just
look
looks.
physically, then I'd say like Angelina Jolie. She's a 10.
Angelina Jolie. Let's do, and young Angelina or current?
I haven't seen current photos of her.
Let's just do young Angelina. Let's do young. So do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So there's young Angelina.
Mm-hmm.
Young Angelina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what about you? Who's a female 10?
Maybe Sweetie.
All right. Sweetie, you know who that is, Nick?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Who the fuck is that guy?
You don't know Sweetie?
The singer?
Sweetie.
She's still young.
Maybe like a modern picture.
She kind of looks like Sierra from Love Island.
Yeah, you don't have to put young because she's
Okay.
like 22, I think.
Oh, is she? I didn't know she was that young.
Maybe she's not
Okay.
that young, but she's young still.
All right. Okay. So you would say, you said Angelina Jolie is a 10. You would say that like you're kind of on par with Angelina Jolie?
I think we look different, and I think
Sure.
I think she's a gorgeous woman. I think from a universal standpoint of like if people were just judging her purely based on appearance, she would be rated a 10 or something close to it. But everybody has different preferences. Some people would think she's a 2 or a 3. But like I said, for myself and for my future husband, I think that I am a 10. And we're just beautiful in our own rights, just in different ways.
Okay. And then what about you? You on par with Saweetie?
Honestly, we got the same mind because I was thinking the same thing, you know, like, yeah, people may think that, oh, Saweetie's way more bomb than me. And, like, that's totally valid. But me, like, the way that I see myself, like, yeah, I am on par. I am as bad as Saweetie just because, like, that's just how I see myself. And same thing, you know, I may not be a 10 to everybody. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I feel like I'm really secure in my looks where I feel like I can say I'm a 10.
And then you were going to ask something, or?
I think I was going to add something earlier, but that already flew out of my brain.
It was related to this, though, right? Or
Was it? I don't remember.
I thought you were like, can I say something or whatever? Okay.
Oh, wait, I do remember, actually.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think everybody on the table should claim themselves as a 10, you know? Like, I feel like how you rate yourself is like...
Erroneous.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like how you rate yourself should be like how you feel about yourself. So, you know, if you feel like you're a 10, then you will be a 10.
I mean, it was on my looks. Like, I think I don't look like the most perfect human being. Like, when I look at someone, I'm like, that person is fully perfect. I don't feel that. And it's okay. I'm not saying I want to be that person, but I'm logical. Like, that's what I fucking look like.
So here's,
I'm okay
here's the
with
next
that.
thing I'd like to do. Name a guy who is a 10 that we can Google,
Like, looks?
starting with you.
So this is a good question. I would say my like childhood crush was like a young Chris Pine.
Oh my god, me too.
Young Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for you?
Man, I'm going to be honest, like, I'm not really like, I don't really think about like celebrities like that.
There's no
so
guy you could name that's
honest-
just like good looking. Or...
The guy that I can name is Gojo Satoru.
Who?
He's an anime character.
It's got a weeb over here.
I know you're not saying that with all the Dragon Ball stuff behind me.
It is true. There's a lot of Dragon Ball statues. And, yeah, but you know, that's like mainstream shit.
It's not mainstream or whatever.
Dragon Ball Z is like the most popular anime ever.
So just because she knows one that's less popular, she's like,
yeah, it makes you more of a... Yeah, if you know
Is
like
it
a
a little boy
niche
dweeby?
thing,
What
it makes
anime
you more
is
of a
your
weeb.
guy from?
is it dweeby?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
All right, that's a little niche.
It's pretty...
It's a little niche, but it's
I mean,
fine.
it's kind of popular, I guess. I think I heard about it like 20 years ago or something. Louise, thanks for the gifted 10 memberships. Okay, so young Chris Pine, let's get that pulled up. Can you make it bigger? Oh, that works too. Make it bigger. Bigger. Okay. All right. Handsome guy, young Chris Pine. And then do you want to give us a human or something?
I can't even think of one. Let's see. A 10, like, just off looks?
Yeah, just looks.
What's his name? The guy that was in Megan Thee Stallion's song. I think it's like Yuki Kaiba or something.
Oh, the Japanese rapper.
Yeah. Do you know
he's
his name?
No, but he's cute. I think.
He is pretty cute.
Yeah, I don't remember his name though. Probably just Google Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, I also think I think 21 Savage is pretty attractive too. I know that's not popular, but I think he's pretty attractive.
We'll have different
All
types.
that matters.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I honestly don't know what either of them look like, so this will be fun.
I don't either.
Do we have photos or? Yeah, I like this one better. So he's a 10. That's a 10 for you.
I think he's attractive.
So you want me to think I'm a 10?
Different strokes for different folks.
I mean, but are you factoring in like his status and his?
No,
Or
if
rap
we're
skills,
if we're
whatever.
being honest, he's really funny, and that's kind of like what like.
That'll do
Wait,
it.
isn't he?
No, No, he's definitely alive.
He's
definitely
British.
alive.
That was like a big scandal. They found out he was secretly British.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Savage the 21st.
It was a whole thing. He was on the risk of being deported, or he got detained or something, but he's secretly British.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about that other rapper who was
You mean Juice or X?
Yeah, either one.
either one.
Oh well, they're both passed.
Yeah.
I don't listen to rap, so I don't know about. Okay, that's cool. So just to be clear, going for you now. Here, let's get the split fixed. So, a woman that you listed as a 10 is Angelina Jolie. Here, I'm gotta do one fucking thing at a time. And then the guy who you listed as a 10 is Chris Pine. So you say you're on par with Angelina Jolie, and a looks match for you would be Chris Pine.
That's an interesting question. Again, I think that we're all different. I don't know whether or not Chris Pine would go for me because his preferences. Right?
But maybe he would.
If he could, though.
Maybe
Like,
you're his exact type.
Like if he found me attractive, I found him attractive.
Is he watching?
Chris Pine at me.
Anybody want some more champagne?
Sure.
Pass your cups on back. You want?
Brian.
Can you fill for me? Actually,
I'm okay. I'm good.
she's good. All right. I don't know whose cup that was.
Oh, I think that one's mine.
Oh shit, got all bubbly. So, thoughts?
I mean, yeah. If he was into me and he found me as equally attractive as I find him, yeah, sure.
Okay, but do you think that that's your league, looks wise?
I don't necessarily really believe in leagues. Like, I think that if anything of what I've experienced in life is that the more that I get to know people, the more attracted or unattracted that I get to them.
Yes, I think there's obviously more to attraction than just physical attraction. But I think you wouldn't deny that physical attraction is very important, right?
Yeah, physical attraction does play a role in the beginning. Like, that's the instant spark, that's the instant attraction. But for example, I've dated men in the past who I wasn't initially very attracted to, and that I would probably put in the quote unquote friend zone. But then over time, as we developed more emotional intimacy, they became more attractive to me. And so I don't put looks to me is just 10% of the equation. I value way more emotional integrity, emotional intelligence, and what their values are as a person.
I'll get right into that, but first, this was a champagne pop for DPG. DPG, thank you for the champagne pop. You're a legend, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Cheers. Salut.
Isn't it bad luck?
It is.
What?
I said,
Bad
isn't
luck
it
to
bad
cheers
luck
with
to
water.
cheers water?
Oh.
Who cheers water?
I raised my glass.
I almost did, and then
I
I
don't know.
stopped.
I didn't clink, but I raised my glass.
I don't know. So you don't believe in leagues?
Personally, no.
Okay. So I have a question for you. Do you think people can be unattractive physically? Do you believe that people can be beautiful or ugly? Physically.
I would say that there are people that I personally am unattracted to, but other people find incredibly attractive.
Sure, but do you think that so here's my position. I think that beauty is mostly subjective, but there are objective components to beauty.
I don't quite agree with that because, again, let's take, for example, what was the woman's name? I hate to title her by this. The most ugly woman in the world. What was her name?
Susan Boyle.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know her name.
It was the singer.
Like, words.
Singer Susan Boyle was like known as being that.
Like, she has like a blind eye or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, for her, like, she might be objectively not having all of the perfect standards of what a typical beautiful woman would look like, skin-wise, appearance-wise, body type, etc. But there are people who are drawn to her. Like, if you look in the comments, and I don't know them personally, so I can't speak for them, but like, that's technically the quote-unquote titled most ugly woman in the world, and still people are drawn to her. So I think it is incredibly subjective, more than objective. If you look at it from a population standpoint, if you do a BuzzFeed quiz and have people rate what's attractive and what's not attractive, of course, if you frame it like that, they're going to say the XYZ certain characteristics are pulled to be the higher attractive traits. But again, that doesn't really represent what attraction's really based on, which is a person's own personal opinion and their own preferences.
So you don't think beauty has any impact on people being able to find a partner?
Sometimes too, like you might not even find somebody particularly attractive, or like they might not be your usual type, but then you get in front of them and like you kind of have a little bit of a conversation, and the chemistry is so intense that like even if you're not each other's types, you're just drawn to each other on a physical level, where you wouldn't, if you saw a picture of them, maybe you wouldn't be attracted to them, but then when you're in person, there's just something with your physiology and the energy, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, they're hot now in front of me, they're hot.
I mean, I agree that there are other determining factors that can contribute to
No, not even
finding
getting to know
somebody.
them. Just like there's you've never had that with somebody where like you see them and then like just you get in the same
So
space
I saw
and you're
a
like,
really ugly
wow.
girl, and she just, I never talked to her, but there was just a vibe.
When you get in each other's space, so you're going to talk at some point, but like have you ever
there would be conversation then.
but you feel the chemistry and the attraction
I feel
before
the
then?
chemistry?
Yeah, you've never just been drawn to somebody like that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
almost
it's-
like
that's
when
usually
you
what
meet
it always
somebody-
is.
Sounds
For me.
like some word salad. I don't
Well,
know.
do you okay? I don't
I
know
think
you.
there's a whole bunch of things that can make somebody attractive. Probably the primary and the first thing is going to be their physical attractiveness, and then there's going to be behavioral stuff, personality stuff that is going to make or break that initial attraction.
Do you have like what I don't? Sorry to ask, but like you sex wise, do you only engage with people that like you're in a committed relationship with, or have you had like flings and stuff like that? Have you hooked up
When I was
with people?
younger, I had a couple flings, but I prefer long-term relationships and continuity.
So, but did you ever, when you were younger, have one of those instances where like you just meet somebody and like immediately you can feel there's like a palpable sexual chemistry?
Yeah, but there's typically a baseline level of physical attraction first.
Okay.
So
I would say that's
is
the
there
initial-
more of a like either romantic or sexual chemistry or flirtation that can exist more so in one person versus another? Yeah, sure.
Fair enough. I'm just speaking
not
from my
saying-
own
look,
experience.
Even really, really physically unattractive people can still find relationships, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm not disputing that unattractive people can date. That's
No, I'm
a
not saying that
dispute.
either. I'm saying that like I've personally experienced a thing where we were not matched aesthetically, and
yeah.
there was just palpable chemistry, and it's like that's not who we would have gone for.
Okay, sure. I think I can test this out pretty easily here. So if like looks don't matter, let's just remove entirely anything you know about these people. Let's just talk strictly looks. So you can't make any judgments outside of looks. So let's say modern current day Donald Trump, is he more attractive than Brad Pitt at 25? Physically attractive.
Is he wearing a diaper, or did he
It's
go
modern
depends
day.
list?
It's
Okay.
Donald Trump, who's currently in the White
Yeah,
House
I'd prefer
right now,
somebody who doesn't wear a diaper
versus
so,
25-year-old Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad
Who's
Pitt.
more physically attractive?
I thought we were
Brad
taking
Pitt.
physical
Brad
attraction
Pitt.
out of it. I thought that was the premise.
No,
just
no,
looks?
we're leaving. I know you. Some of you are liberals, so we're leaving out that you disagree with his politics. Who's more physically attractive?
So the two demarcators of beauty usually are physical health and age. So by that standpoint, Brad Pitt is younger and more physically healthy, so he would inherently, objectively be more attractive.
Okay. Does anybody have a different opinion, or?
Well, I think that Trump's Trump's charisma is freaking off the charts.
We're just talking looks.
So
I think it makes him.
Let me put it this way. If you are in a poll of physical attractiveness, again, like in a BuzzFeed or something like that, sure, people will say that whoever the other guy was more attractive than Donald Trump, but that doesn't always work out in real life execution, meaning that when you actually get to know people and are surrounded by their energy and are actually their natural hormones and chemistry, they can say, like, just theoretically, you approach both guys and you're speed dating with them, the guy that they said was more conveniently attractive, they might not actually have any spark or chemistry or real attraction with in real life. And that's where I think the difference is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've met,
But I don't think it's not in dispute that people who are average or below average or really unattractive. I'm not disputing that they can't find people who might find them physically attractive or who want to be with them. That's not really in dispute. What I'm disputing here is you said you don't believe in leagues.
No.
You don't think that there's leagues. So what, I guess, then, is stopping me from dating 19 and 20-year-old supermodels? What's the barrier? Like, it has nothing to do, like, what's the barrier?
Okay, yeah.
Like, if I were to shoot my shot with a 20-year-old supermodel,
yeah, let me, yeah.
they're in my league, right?
I can answer that for you, which is, first, let's just take age out of it because I don't want to go down the age numbers thing. But let's just say it's a supermodel.
30-year-old supermodel.
Sure, cool, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so are there 30-year-old supermodels out there who may have superficial beliefs about men and women and go for the six-pack, 6'6", whatever, and that, or they have people who are drawn to them that are in that category who they like to explore with? Sure. However, if they actually met you in real life, and I would say at least...
They're not going to like me.
Maybe, like, it depends on what they're physically attracted to. However...
Well, I'm not talking even physical. I'm just saying I probably differ quite a bit in terms of politics and whatnot.
You don't know
Sure,
that.
well, that's
Okay,
what-
fine. They're super... All
That's
these
what I'm
Victoria's
saying.
Secret models are super base conservatives.
That's where I'm
Okay.
saying where real attraction in leagues comes in is way more about values, morals, and integrity in their character rather than anything about their physical appearance. Because, for example, let's say you get on a blind date with a supermodel, okay, and she's way super attracted to you physically. Throughout the course of that conversation, you guys may have different political beliefs, different moral beliefs, and then when you expose that, suddenly the attraction might die. Or, hey, I don't know your beliefs. Maybe you're like a one-night stand kind of guy. I don't know. But if there's physical attraction, I'm not saying that you are, Ryan. I'm saying that in a scenario where if you're a one-night stand type of person, it might just be a one-night stand type of connection.
I've seen very ugly male comedians go out and go to bars, and I'm like, you're not going to get any attention. And women flock to them because they do just have that natural sort of like energy about them that brings really hot women in.
Okay, so
I love ugly
understand.
men.
Look, again, first off, when it comes to comedians, one of the number one things that women say that they look for is humor. And these comedians, I don't know to what degree, like how famous they are or have status. That's another component that probably plays in here. Perhaps they have good conversational skills. Are most men as funny as professional comedians? I would say not. So we can point to, there's maybe comedians who are not good looking, but their status or they're just interacting with them is this like fun experience and that makes them attractive to women. Sure, I agree with that, but I don't think that that's within the realm of most men, that they're, in terms of their humor, that it's on par with professional stand-up comedians.
Which is true, but I'm not even saying, oh, they were out there cracking. I'm talking like before they had fame or status or money, back when they were sleeping on air mattresses.
Broke guys can sleep with women. I don't dispute this. They had good. So you're basically saying good, like men with good personalities can sleep with women. I'm not disputing this at all.
All right.
How many men have good personalities?
I haven't taken
Like
a
how
poll.
many? And what I'm getting at is to overcome other detrimental attributes or characteristics.
What's the detrimental attribute or characteristic?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily view it this way, but women might say, like for example, a woman might say, if a guy's short, he has to make up for it in other ways.
See, then I would think that you would be dating women with no judgment to people's personal beliefs, but who are dating on superficial standards rather than actually wanting to get to know who you are as a person.
You don't think that people are not dating superficially?
Oh, I believe that there is a group out there, but to invite a different perspective, the type of people that I date and the type of people that I've seen, like, and the type of people that I've experienced, like, I have a standard personally that for the type of people that I go out with, and also the type of people in my friend groups that they go out with are not dating superficially. It's just a different form of, like, dating.
But people do a lot of virtue signaling, and they want to say the thing that sounds good, but they won't always actually reveal overtly genuine preferences. So it sounds good as a woman to say, yeah, I'll date a short guy, but then like we've done, well, here, I can maybe test this out. You said you've been in a couple relationships, right?
Yeah, and
just curious, how tall was your last boyfriend?
Yeah, all of my boyfriends, except for one, have been shorter than me.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
All of your boyfriends have been shorter. Okay, we got an outlier here. All right.
And that's what I'm saying, is that it's not necessarily about what all women in general think. It's about which group of women are you dating and attracting into your life.
Yeah, but in general, women have a general preference for example, men who are tall.
Sure, like
you might end up dating a guy who's your height, maybe even a bit shorter, as in your case. But it is a general preference for the vast majority of women. And what they're going to find initially most physically attractive is men who are taller than them.
Sure, yes, but there's a difference between preference versus standard, meaning that, yes, there are women out there who are like, I will not date anybody who is shorter than me. Yes, I think there's a lot of women out there who innately do have the preference because they like to feel small and protected and held by their partner. And again, the type of group of women that I'm talking about, or the ones that are basing their values versus on something more than just the superficial, are not going to be deterred by somebody who is shorter or any other physical characteristics.
Wait, hold on. A guy could have a sterling personality, but just on the basis of his height alone is going to be disqualified by a cohort of women.
By, yes, one group, but probably the type of woman you would want to date and how many men would want to date wouldn't be dating those types of women.
But you said earlier, you were like, oh, if a guy's short, he has to make up for it in some other way. If height is the standard for the woman in question and he's short, then yeah, he's going to have to make up for it in another way. But what? Okay, then his personality could be the thing that makes up for it, or his sense of humor.
Right, but for some girls, it's just going to be, unless he's exceptional, either in his personality or some other metric, I think it's still going to be an issue for a lot of women.
Can I put my opinion on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it's not even like an argument. When a man is taller and is more in shape, it means naturally he can take better care of you, and it's in our natural instincts to find that more attractive. There's no reason to argue about this. And when a female is skinnier, that's just what a man likes, because it's just in their natural instinct. That means a healthier life. It means a better, like, I don't know, breeding better, a lot of different things. And it's in our natural instincts.
Physical fitness, sure, but taller men die sooner.
It doesn't matter. They can take care
That's 100. Short men live longer. You can look it up.
I think looks really matter. And like, if someone has two guys, if you have two guys in front of you, they have the exact same personality, and one is taller and better looking, you will pick the taller and better looking. That's the reality. People that look better, they're better. That's just what it is. People that look better, they're better.
Say that's, I feel like that's incredibly disempowering to men. And I don't mean to. You can have your personal opinion, and like I'm not going to shame you.
They're going to find women that are in their league, and women that are like a little bit less. They're going to find men that are less. That's just how it is.
Just to state my personal opinion, I think that it's disempowering to men to think that they're going to be disadvantaged or that they lack any less value, and that might be true for you and the type of people that you date. And again, no shame against that. Those are your beliefs, and that's totally okay. Yeah. What I'm saying though is that I don't think a man should be limited by his height, by any sort of physical appearance. I think that, yes, as in general, generally speaking here, every man and every woman should work on their values, should work on their integrity, work on their skill sets. The girl that I was 5 years ago sucked at dating, was a total pick-me and totally anxious girl. Yeah. But I worked on those skill sets so that I could increase, my approach in relationships and actually be an energetic and emotional match for the type of partner that I wanted. So I don't think that it has to be, again, disempowering to men to think that, okay, just because you're shorter, just because you have any other physical attributes that you're going to have limits. Yes, there will be women out there that will not date you because of height, because of these other things. But again, those probably won't be the type of women that you want to date.
No, that's exactly what he wants. He just can't get it, and it's the reality. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a reality
There's
for some people.
Certain disadvantages in life.
But we're painting this with such a broad brush, because there are women, of course, that there's a lot of women that like tall guys. Yeah. There's women that like shorter guys or average height guys. Just like a lot of women like ladies with big honkers. Okay, but there's guys who love women with small boobs.
But the guys that look better, that are taller, that are better looking, they're fitter, they have a way bigger choice of women, and
sure,
the guys that
better
are not
looking
that
all
looking,
over, yeah,
exactly. So that's the conversation. Our better looking people have better chances of succeeding and better chances of just being better. Is that true?
Well, one way that I challenge that is just because you have a variety of options does not mean that you actually are compatible with a lot of those people. And at the end of the day, other than polyamorous relationships or people who get married multiple times, you only marry one person.
Yeah, but when you have more options,
wanted to say something.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Holly.
It's really funny because looks are great, but it's great to have a pretty face. But for me, honest to God, I can't get turned on with the man that's not a protector provider, truly. That is a man's man.
I think we have options of what we are. So like whatever we are, we have that option for us. So if you want that, you kind of have to be on, that's just the reality and truth of life. Like it's unfair. This is what it is. Let's accept reality and move on.
So question for you. You said that you think Chris Pine is a 10.
Sure.
You think you're a 10. Would you feel like you were settling if you dated a guy who was not, in terms of looks, not as good looking as Chris Pine?
If you take it from the BuzzFeed poll, like, sure, you can take that narrative. But again, for me, just like I believe that I'll be a 10 for my husband and a 10 for myself, I also believe my husband will be a 10 in my eyes as well.
I don't think you necessarily need to do this. I think you can state the following, that you're really attracted to your partner and you think that they're beautiful, and you can maybe even be satisfied with how you look and not have insecurities or lack self-confidence. But you can also make a determination like, okay, I'm not on par with the most beautiful people in the world, and if I'm able to like make a hierarchy and rank order these people based off of their physical attractiveness, say, the top best looking people, if they're a 10 and you give yourself a 6 or a 5, I don't think that being able to come to realistic and somewhat accurate determinations as to where you fall on the beauty hierarchy is indicative of your lack of self-confidence or your lack of attraction for your partner. In this case, if, say, a person is genuinely a 5 and they're dating somebody who's a 5, I don't think that you need to think your partner is, in terms of looks, a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea of your partner will find you to be a 10, like, for example, if you were dating a guy and he was like, say he was a bit more blunt, and you asked him, you're like, what do you rate me? And he said, oh, I'd give you like a 6. Would you?
So I think it's a little more
offended, or?
multidimensional than that. I think that if I was having a conversation with my husband, let's say, I think that when he looked at me and he perceived me, he would say, Emily, you're a beautiful woman and you're a 10 in my eyes. And then if we took it into the context of, okay, but let's take it from a societal standpoint or take it from a universal standpoint of if you did the BuzzFeed poll, what you would be rated. Those might not be congruent, but that doesn't mean that my husband doesn't see me as the most beautiful woman in the world, or I don't see him as the most attractive. Would I believe? Of course, because those are my values.
Here's me. If I'm dating a girl, I would almost be upset or offended if she was like, I think you're better looking than Brad Pitt when he was 25. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. You're lying.
But maybe she's not, because she's also if you're dating her,
but
then she's also taking.
Looks, I know
but she can't. She can't separate all that, because now you've got sentiment and experiences and the way you make her feel. Like she's not going to be able to separate that.
She likes me because of all those things. But if we're just having a conversation about looks,
of course.
I think if you're in love or in a relationship with somebody, I don't think that pulls like wool over your eyes to the point where you can't just assess that like, okay, there is possibly somebody who could be better looking than my partner. Yeah. Like, come on, you can't so once you're in love, you can't make a determination that like, okay, it's probably the case that, I don't know, who's like, Megan Fox is better looking than
yeah, but
the girlfriend or whatever.
I think
we're not going to find alignment on this, because again, I don't think that it's you necessarily going, oh, does Brad Pitt have better abs than me? Then yeah, she might say yes, but like in terms of
it could be facial attractiveness too.
I think my husband's the most attractive man.
Exactly.
I do have photos. Okay. No, I really do.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, you say that.
I do say that.
But are you saying physically, looks-wise, he's the most attractive guy?
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't separate how I feel about him, though.
But is this one of those things that you say because it can come to the detriment of your relationship?
No, I didn't have to say anything.
The truth. No, I know, but like, for example, if a girl, this old trope of, hey, do I look fat in this dress? Like, it's probably not the right move to say that she looks fat if she actually looks fat.
Yeah,
like, that's probably not the right move from an interpersonal dynamic thing.
No, I get what you're saying, but I didn't have to say anything. He's not here. or watching this.
No,
so.
I know.
So
I
in
know.
my case, I'm just being honest.
I know, but there is a component of when you have a spouse or you have a relationship, you're going to say things to side with your spouse that might not actually be
get
the
laid.
reality.
And I agree with that.
I don't entirely agree with that. For me and my partner, I always expect from him and from for him, for me too, like to be honest and to have standards. Like, for example, like I'm not afraid to tell the guy that I'm dating, hey, it seems like you've been letting yourself go recently, but not from a place of, okay, I am only just because I'm less attracted to you, because I actually care about their health and that they're taking care of their body. So, and I don't want my husband to lie to me either. Like the guys that I've dated previously, when I go, when I'm wearing something like a different outfit and I ask them what their opinion is on it, they always give me the truth. So I don't look like a fool, because they love me and respect me way too much to allow me to go out into the world in something that is not going to be appealing. They might disagree. I might disagree with their opinion, where sometimes I'm like, well, actually, babe, I feel hot. So, but that doesn't mean that I don't value their opinion, though.
Let's face it, if a guy wants to date, he's going to tell you that you're beautiful. He's going to blow smoke up your ass to get laid, okay? Yeah. And, if they're not going to come up to you and go, oh, God, you need help. You need to lose weight. You need a facelift. You need a tummy tuck. They're not going to do that. I get freaking strangers coming up going, you're beautiful. And I'm looking around going, bitchin'. He thinks I'm beautiful. I love you too, baby. Where have you been my whole life? I mean, seriously.
I think it's better to just be like honest with ourselves and with our partners that, okay, I'm a 5, you're a 5, you're great, I love you, but you're a fucking 5. It's fine. It's like, you don't have to be like, you're a 10 in my eyes, because he's not a 10 in your eyes. Because when you see someone better looking, you know that person is better looking. We know that.
But beauty's so in the eye of the beholder, because I don't think you're a 5. I think you're a 9. Like, you're objectively really hot.
She wants to break her off a piece.
She's already said she's not into girls, and that's fine. But I am saying you are objectively an attractive woman, and maybe you see yourself as a 5, but I see you as a 9, and I'm sure
I would put you as a 10.
Just one point of clarification. So, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but she's objectively a beautiful woman?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
So if you put me next to someone that is like doesn't really go to a gym or doesn't have certain things that I do, and then you're gonna know that person is not. It's a little bit not as good looking as me, and it's fine. That's I think that's what the whole conversation is. Mm-hmm. There's people that are look-wise elite. I believe that there's elites in everything. There's people that are better than other people, and I do believe that honestly, this is, you guys gonna hate me, but I do believe that men in general are better than women. And I agree with that, and I will always agree with that are better. And I want them in my life, and I wish I had like a father figure that was better than me, that was better than my mom, that took care of me, that I wouldn't be here. And if I had a man that is like, I want my man to be better than me, and that's why we're where we are in society, because we don't want to agree with it. And then now we have women in power, and we're here arguing about if there's better looking people or not. Like,
well, in fairness, that topic was brought up by a man.
But so look, beauty, it's not objective in the strictest philosophical sense, but there are measurable things when it does come to beauty that are partly predictable, partly measurable. And I think, like, for example, there are certain universals that I think you would find if we were to show a picture of a really, really, really ugly person and a really, really, really beautiful person. I think there would be almost universally. Now, there might be a couple people who are like, I think the really ugly person is more beautiful, whether they're being honest or not, hard to say. But I think if, for example, 99.99% of the population agreed that the one who is really beautiful is more beautiful, that does point to some degree of, there are some components of beauty that are objective.